Right, I'm joined by massive Liverpool fan and big TikToker Jonathan Morley. How are you, mate?
What's up, Buvey? Thanks for having me on.
I've got to say, mate, your TikToks, they take a leaf out of my book, I think, in terms of winding other fans up. And the little score, the way you green screen the little scorecard at the top of your head, it's absolute genius, man.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Just like yourself, I absolutely love the sport. I love football. I love Liverpool, and obviously it's much nicer when we win. But yeah, it's all a good laugh at the end of the day, isn't it? It's all good banter. Yeah, TikTok has kind of been has been well used for that.
100%. And obviously, the banter works when your side are doing well. Because if Liverpool are struggling, then no one sort of looks at your TikToks or any of our videos or anything that we do because it's all banter back on you. But Liverpool are smashing it. I think you've gone right under the radar. I said it from day dot because of Szoboszlai coming in and McAllister. People thought the transition was way too soon in terms of bringing so many midfielders in for Fabinho and Henderson, etc. What's your initial overview of the kind of season so far? Because you're doing very, very well.
Yeah, I'm really really happy, man. Like I can't lie, I thought we'd be in the top 400% this season, but I didn't think things would be going as well as they are. I mean, to be top the league after 16 games is an absolutely incredible feeling. It honestly is because the way it's going, Liverpool genuinely have a chance of actually winning this league. I'd still have City as strong favourites, and I still have City as strong favourites unless they were way off. But to actually be in there with a chance and Christmas coming up in the next week or so, I mean, no, it feels great. I would say it's definitely exceeding my expectations at the moment.
Give me a little bit of chat about the Liverpool squad then, because obviously we know Salah is incredible. We know Alisson's the best in the world, in my opinion. Are there any players that maybe non-Liverpool fans could look at and think, wow, they're having underrated seasons from someone that obviously watches all the games like you?
Um, I suppose I suppose I mean you talk about the obvious ones as you mentioned there, Allison, but Salah's having another really good season. People like to slander Salah. I don't know why. It's really really strange. I mean, the guy just produces week after week. He could play for Bournemouth. He could play for Bournemouth or Luton in the Premier League, and he would score about 20 25 goals a season. Like, I mean, that's just how good he is. Van Dijk has been excellent this season. Like, game in, game out, Van Dijk has been excellent. I remember before the season started, and you'd see him, people not put him in these conversations anymore, best in the world and stuff like that. I mean, he absolutely belongs back there now. He is like nearly back to his best, I would say, at 32 years old. He's been flawless this season. Simicast has been good the last few games, filling in for Robertson, which is a big one because he can be quite dodgy at the back. Uh, apart from that, apart from that, there's not that much. I don't think. Obviously, you mentioned Szoboszlai. McAllister has been decent enough. Unfortunately, he's not playing on Sunday. But yeah, probably the standout ones we just really all mentioned there.
What's that midfield for you then that you think will start against Man United? Is Gravenberch part of that? I think Gravenberch has been really good as well. I think completely underrated. I think he's better at that DM role than McAllister is. But then I get that neither of them are kind of defensively minded enough. And obviously Endo came in. I think Endo looked a little bit overpowered against Crystal Palace. I think they did a job on him. I think they realised he was a little bit slow on the ball. He's obviously very small as a defensive midfielder. He's quite,
Yeah.
he's 5'10" or whatever it is. So what's your kind of makeup for the midfield going into the game against Man United?
Yeah, like I mean, it is a pity McAllister's not there, but at the same time, I mean, it's a game where you would expect Liverpool will dominate the ball anyway. Liverpool dominate the ball in the vast majority of their games, like City do. But look, there would be worse games to be missing Alexis McAllister for. Uh, Look, Curtis Jones played last night. A lot of people are talking about Curtis Jones starting on Sunday. He was really poor last night. He hasn't exactly been that good lately. I'd obviously start Szoboszlai there. I'd agree. I'd start Gravenberch too. He just brings that pace, doesn't he? Like, I mean, he's directing what he does. He runs at defenses. I really like Gravenberch. He is still raw. He's still young. He's still learning the game. He's still improving. He's still getting better. But no, I would start him in midfield on Sunday. We might have no choice to play Jones as well, so it might be maybe like Endo is one of those. I agree with what you said as well, Buvey. Like he can look good against kind of maybe not so good opposition. But against Palace, as you said last weekend, he did not look good. Last night against USG, he did not look good, and that's
Really?
USG. Like, and yeah, he did not look good. And look, to be honest, I nobody could care less about last night's game. I don't even think the players cared. They were just going through the motions. But no, Endo did not look good. So I'm kind of thinking I like him, but he's not he's not good enough. He can only kind of do a job maybe off the bench or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I'm not even sure what I started him on Sunday. Maybe I'd maybe go for those three: um, Soboslai, Jones, and Gravenberch, because I don't really think Endo adds anything. And as you said, like he gets pushed off the ball very easily. He gives away possession. Yeah, I just don't think he's good enough.
yeah. That's really interesting. I think, there's an argument that as we talk about the game, that you could almost play any three in midfield. I think you get a result against United. I think they're that bad. It's a really strange one at Man United, because obviously United fans talk about the Glazers, they talk about the lack of strategic investment, and the squad is a little bit behind the likes of Man City and even Chelsea with all the young players they're signing, and even obviously Liverpool. Where does the buck stop with Ten Hag? Because I'm still seeing performances, the likes of, Bayern Munich performance, Bournemouth. I mean, Bournemouth would have performed better against Bayern Munich than Man United. I mean, how are they coming bottom of
Yeah.
their group with that squad? Like, what do you make of Man United?
Um, like it's to be honest. I mean, since the start of the season, since the very start of this season, Booby, you could see in their performance just they're not a good side. It's as simple as that. I think Ten Hag. I wouldn't say Ten Hag is as awful as some others say. To be honest, I would say they're probably better off sticking with him until the end of the season. This season is not really going to go anywhere for them anyway. Better off sticking with him to the end of the season and just see what happens. See what the season had in store. Then have a review and then maybe make a decision then, because I mean they're not going to really make any positive changes now in sacking him. But I do think he will be sacked very very soon. And to be honest, he's got to take an awful lot of the blame. I mean, yes, a lot of the players have been poor and off form, um, but he's spent very, very poorly, hasn't he? I mean, like
Yeah,
just look at that squad. Look at that. Like look at the quality that they're lacking in there. Look at going forward. I mean, it's just they're lacking goals. Look at Anthony. Players like this. I mean, it's just really, really, really poor. And I think if he does get sacked, the biggest mistake he would have made is he was given all this money and he spent it really, really poorly. I think actually last season, United were not as good as I think a lot of what their fans made out. It was just that other teams were poor, and as well, Rashford had an unbelievable season. Rashford had a complete purple patch season, and that
yeah,
made Manchester United so much better. That he took all of the flack going forward. He literally put Manchester United's forward line on his back last season and
yeah,
carried them. You
yeah.
know what I mean? And now that he is kind of been back to being Marcus Rashford this season, they have no goal scorer. They can't score goals. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
100%.
yeah, like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong this season. But it's not that much of a surprise, Booby, honestly, because as I said, his signings tactically, it's just not there, is he?
No, it's not there, mate. And I wonder if Liverpool hadn't have got Jurgen Klopp and Man United had got him instead in that kind of 2016-17 period of time, or 15, whenever it was. You wonder the fortunes of Liverpool. You wonder where Liverpool would be with the lack of investment relative to Man City, relative to Arsenal, relative to Chelsea. Where would Liverpool be without
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp, and where would Man United be if they could have got someone like him in? And imagine one of the Mane or the Salahs have gone to Man United as well. I mean, I mean, that would have been absolutely incredible. The game is very interesting. I feel last season, again, I think you're spot on, by the way. I think completely covered over the cracks. Their biggest ever Premier League loss ever happened last season against you.
Yeah.
7-0.
Yeah.
I think if you play 10% of that level, you'll beat them 3 or 4-0 anyway. They're that bad at the moment. What's your kind of overview for the game, and how do you think it's going to sort of pan out?
Like I'm looking forward to, as you can understand, mate. I love coming up against Manchester United. I love Liverpool coming up against Manchester United, especially these last number of years. I remember when I was younger and they had Fergie, and I would be shitting a brick all week. But it's a lot different now. It's a lot more relaxed. But I'm probably more cautious than other people, just because our last few performances haven't been good. We've been winning, which, as you know, and any other football fan, Buvey, if you're playing poorly and you're winning, it's great, but you want to see the performances a bit better. So I hope Liverpool play well. I want to see a good Liverpool performance on Sunday, but I think Liverpool play well. I think United kind of play quite defensively, kind of similar to what they played during the week against Bayern. I think we win, but not hugely. I think we win like 3-0.
Just 3-0. I'm worried as a City fan,
I'm
man.
going to be nice.
Yeah. Well, fair enough, and I think you're being realistic. The Liverpool Man United games, even when United have been rubbish, or even Liverpool been rubbish in the Ferguson era, and then there's a kind of 0-0 or 1-0, 7-0 really was an anomaly. I think people saying it's going to be another 7-0 is they're not understanding the history of the fixture, at least, and the kind of the size of it. And I think just final question. Then I'm very interested as a City fan, because I think Liverpool have more minerals about them than Arsenal, more experience. I think they've got the world-class manager that Arteta isn't at the moment, just because of his experience, etc. How do you think this result, obviously I think you will go on to beat Man United, how does that go on to affect the rest of your season, and what do you think you'll end up this season achieving?
It's a good question. To be honest, before the season started, the bare minimum would have been kind of Europa League, and I would still say Europa League 100%. We got to win the Europa League. It's the only trophy Klopp hasn't won at Liverpool too. Carabao Cup, it's not a priority, but Liverpool are in the quarterfinals now. We have West Ham next week, and we have them at home. We should beat them, and we're the best team left in that. But the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, I kind of have, in the back burner. It'd be mostly, I'd be thinking Europa League, and I would say I would be happy with a good title challenge. That might sound a little bit
political, man. It's a very political answer. You sound like Keir Starmer, man. You've got to get off the fence.
It's maybe not that ambitious, like that we're top of the league and just say I'd take a good title challenge, but I still think there's a lot of work with this team. That's why I wouldn't I'm not gonna at any stage this season, if we're looking at it in a great position or something like that, I'm not going to go crazy, because I know there is still a lot of work to do with this team. Klopp has done immensely well in one summer transfer window to completely turn around that midfield and to make us so much better than what we were last season. But there is still a lot of work left in this team. I do think Manchester City are still strong favourites to win the league. Liverpool potentially, yes, could do something in the league. I'm just happy enough. Keep winning every week. See what happens. Stuff like I'm kind of just going with the flow in terms of the Premier League movie this season. But Europa League minimum. I would say Europa League minimum, and
come on, Europa League minimum. Come on,
Europa League.
You're a Liverpool fan, man. Come on, Europa League minimum. I'm not having that, mate. You're so much better than that.
But what do you actually think we'll win the Premier League?
Yeah, I think you've won it. I want to say congratulations to you, mate. If I don't speak to you again from now until May, congratulations. I think you won the Premier League. Well done. You'll beat us at Anfield.
Yeah, at Anfield I'd always back us, but nah, bro. I remember what you did last season with Arsenal, and the closer it got, the more you were talking about Arsenal.
So that was on them, man. They should have won it. They had about 10 points on us.
True, yeah. And what you were doing worked as well. I think it's a good thing to do as well. If you are chasing a team, try and put as much pressure on them as possible. Guardiola did a bit of that last season with Arteta, and I don't know, with that and other things, it kind of worked. But yeah, like in terms of Premier League, just keep winning. Sunday we should win. The Arsenal game next week is absolutely massive. We can win this and
You'll
then
beat
beat
them.
Arsenal at home.
You'll beat them.
I'd always be confident at Anfield against anybody. But if we can obviously win on Sunday, if we can do that, and then we can beat Arsenal next week, then I'm not going to lie, maybe I might get a bit more excited. I am very excited as it is, but yeah, if we can beat Arsenal at home, still top of the league, bit of a gap to Arsenal. Yeah, it's then you'd be thinking more of the title. But yeah, Europa League minimum, title challenge, good title challenge.
Yeah, I want some drama at least, and we obviously had that with Coutinho and Aston Villa at the back end of the season a couple of years ago as well. So, 100%. Thank you so much, mate, for your time. Where can people find you?
Thanks, Buvey. People can find me on TikTok, Jonathan Morley LFC, Twitter, John Morley LFC, Instagram, Jonathan Morley, all of the above. I don't really have a YouTube. I'd hope to do that in the future. But yeah, people can find me on there. Thanks very much, mate. I really enjoyed the chat.
Yeah, likewise, and enjoy the game. You're going to smash United.